is how people can increase the probability of a successful fertilization, focusing both on the components from the male side and from the female side. And I'm mainly going to couch this discussion in the context of the so-called natural method of sexual intercourse and ejaculation in vivo, right, within the female. But I will also touch on some parallel themes as it relates to in vitro fertilization and intrauterine insemination. Okay, so the idea here is that we want the maximum number of high-quality sperm, that is rapidly forward motile sperm that are of the correct morphology, that is shape. That's going to require a lot of mitochondria in the mid-region, a well-shaped head, so it's going to be an oval-shaped head. The tail is going to be a single tail, not multiple tails. These aren't going to be the twitcher type of or immotile type of sperm that are either twitching in place or aren't moving forward. All of those components are going to be essential for increasing the probability of fertilization. But of course, there's the female side of it too, which is that ovulation occurs on just one day during the menstrual ovulatory cycle, and that egg will be available for fertilization for approximately 24 hours. Now, keep in mind that the sperm can survive within the vaginal duct and within the area around the cervix and within the uterus and along the female reproductive tract for anywhere from 3 to 5, or it's even been described as up to 7 days, but generally it's going to be about 3 to 5 days. Now, most women can figure out the day of their ovulation by counting the total number of days of their typical cycle. And this is where it's really useful to have a cycle that's of more or less regular duration, or rather of more or less regular length. So as we talked about earlier, if somebody's cycle is 21 days or 25 days and it's 21 or 25 days consistently, or even 30 days consistently, that's going to be a far better scenario to favor fertilization than if it's 20 days one month and then 21 days the next month, but then suddenly, 30 days and then suddenly 35 days. Those varying durations of the ovulatory cycle make it very hard, obviously, to time and understand when ovulation is going to occur. So regular duration ovulatory cycles are the ideal circumstance. And they're the ideal circumstance because even though the egg is only available for fertilization for a few days, those sperm can survive for some period of time, which leads to the issue of how often should couples be having intercourse. And here I'm referring specifically to intercourse with ejaculation. How often should couples be having intercourse around the time of ovulation if the specific goal is successful fertilization of the egg and the creation of a baby? Okay, this is leaving aside all issues, which of course are interesting issues related to how often people are having intercourse, whether or not there's ejaculation every time they have intercourse or not, for sake of pleasure or for sake of pair bonding and pleasure, or for sake of any number of other potential goals of intercourse. Here I'm only referring to intercourse as it relates to the goal of fertilization of the egg.